Hey there, guys. It's Justin back with Theron Sons Lawn Services. Got the kids some dinner and finally got them down to bed. So I decided to come back out here in the garage and work on my dump trailer a little more. I'm going to try to take you along with me here. We're going to try to get that front board on and then get the trim boards on, kind of make it look a little nicer. I don't know if I'll get the tarp and stuff on tonight, but we'll see where we get. I'm kind of just gonna set this up and bring it around with me, and hopefully the audio is okay. But we'll go from there. I actually went inside and found a tripod, so I have a little bit more better stabilization with the phone, and it's not bouncing around so much. It'll bounce around from time to time as I move it around. I'm gonna try to keep the angles where I'm working, so you'll see the camera move every once in a while. All right, let's get to doing it. Sorry about that. Forgot to switch the camera around. All right, guys, like I said, it's not fancy, but it's functional. Let's see. Okay, let's go with that. All right, we got that one down. Now I'm going to try to get this front bolted in, and I might have to, I'm definitely going to have to bring a board down here to help suck this out flush, and kind of cover these holes to keep stuff from blowing around front. I have no idea what year this dump trailer is. I know it's an antique. But it's rustic and it works, so can't much complain there. Let's go. is that back here? There, now you'll be able to see me. There we go. That ought to help the lighting a little bit. All right, trim. We're gonna have to notch this one a little bit to go around that bolt head, so that way it sits flush. So it'll be approximate. We'll just make it work. Hopefully that'll do. A little bit more. it's kind of bowed in a little bit and away from my board. So I need to pull it back a little bit and hopefully I can draw it in the center. And just like that. And there we go. It's finally starting to look like something. Man, that's nice. Screws, gotta grab a few more screws. Alright guys, so the goal is here is just to trim it out, and I ripped these boards in half to try to keep the weight down but also give that plywood some structural integrity, and then I don't know if it's cosmetically going to look any better. It's more for structural integrity. My plan is I have hoops, I have PVC conduit that the ones on top I'm going to drill holes through at an angle and put bows, make bows in it, and then I'll pin it on the inside with just 1/4 inch bolts. I'll drill through it and it'll hold it in place because it'll be under constant tension, and then my mesh tarp will go over the top of it, and then I'll be able to figure out a way to mount my debris loader to the back. Dang flies. So, we'll see how it goes. I don't have any drawings or anything like that. Everything that I build or work on of my own is normally it's straight off the top of the noggin. I don't really have plans for this type of stuff. I have a general idea in my head and I just go from there and hopefully it works out. So everything I'm using on this trailer, for the most part, is 1/4 inch hardware. Like I said, it's not the nicest. The washers are new. That's just because I don't have enough washers. But so I bought a bag the last time I was at Fleet Farm. But back when I was doing underground utilities, when we got done with the interduct reels, which is what you see, the big rolls of orange and black pipe on the big metal spools. So those reels, those big metal spools, we would have to tear them down so that way we could fit them on a trailer in lots of amounts to take them to the scrapyard, because we didn't have any other way to get rid of them back then. So I just started taking all the hardware and throwing it in this tub that we had laying around the shop at the time, because nobody was using it for anything and we were just going to throw it away anyway. So one day of tearing apart all them interduct reels, I pretty much filled this tub, and then I found some other random bolts and stuff like that laying around the shop that were marred up or used, and you can always use something for a project. I'm kind of a hoarder in that way. But I separated them. So you had all the bolts in this one and all the nuts in this one and every washer and everything like that that I could save. But this right here, I don't know how many times this has saved me building projects. So when I got this dump trailer, it didn't have a tailgate on it. From one of my last jobs that I was at, they were going to throw away this grade 80 laser cut chain. This stuff's really, really expensive. But they were going to throw away like 50 feet of it. So I pulled it out of the scrap bin with the okay of the boss and took it home. And then my tailgate, I didn't have a tailgate and I didn't have money to buy material. So a good friend of mine here in town, he sells used furniture and stuff like that. So this is right here is 2 different bed frames that I made that are sandwiched together. And then I didn't have enough lumber to go lengthwise to build it. So I found something that was about the right height. And I realized that if I cut the boards long ways and spaced them out 2x6, 2x4, 2x6, 2x4, 2x8, 2x4, 2x8, I had enough of that stuff that would span the width of this to make a gate. And then this pin material here is just a cut end that they couldn't use, and there was about 8 inches of it left, and I had picked that up at the time because it went in the scrap bin. So, and like I said, them 1/4 inch bolts, that's how my hinges are mounted, and all the 1/4 inch bolts are pinching this together. But it works. I ended up having to weld a new hinge piece on here because this one was so bad that it wasn't going to hold up, period. So I cut this off and welded this back in, and then I welded this solid chunk here. Like I said, it's seen worse for wear. There's plenty of rust gaps and holes and stuff like that in it, but it works. So I'm not going to complain too much. But yeah, even all this hardware I had found from other things that I had tore apart. I did buy the angle new. So that's really the only money in the washers and some bolts. But the 2x4s, I bought these thinking that I was going to need them to make boards for the bottom of my boys' beds, because we weren't going to do box springs. And then when we did that, we realized that the beds were going to be way too low to the ground and sag, and it wasn't worth it. So we ended up having to go buy box springs for them. And I kept the plywood because I already had it. So I cut it down. ripped it down on my table saw to the approximate lengths. But there's none of this that's square. This old dump trailer is so tweaked and twisted in certain directions that it just, when I bolted the angle iron to it, it didn't matter how straight I got it. When I bolted it down and put tension on it, it just bowed away from itself as it is. So I'm just doing what it'll let me do. And it's just got to work long enough to get me through until I can afford something new to me, new used. But no, I want to get this done so that way it's ready. And the nice part is if you do get in somewhere where there's a lot of leaves or a lot of brush, or a brush pile with a lot of leaves mixed in with it, with this, I can throw all that in there. And I get up on the back of this and I stomp it down and pack it in. And stomp it down, pack it in, and keep on going until I can't fit any more in the trailer. I'll see if I can link some or put some photos in this video. I'm going to try my editing skills, but I'll see if I can put some photos in this video of how packed. The last job that I did, I cut down a whole tree and trimmed the tree in front of it, and I packed that whole tree in this little dump trailer. I cut it down pretty good, but it was stacking it on there until it was higher. That would start to fall off sides of the trailer, and I'd get up there and I'd pack it all in, get back down, throw more on, pack it in, so on and so forth. And then when I strapped it down, pulled my straps as tight as I could get them, strapped it down, put another one over that same area, and then tightened that one down, and then took the other one off and moved it, and I sucked everything down as tight as I could. And when I actually dumped it, it come out as one solid block. It hardly even expanded back out by the time I was done because I had it compacted so tight in there. But it's nice because it slides right out. Everything. I can't complain. I didn't do too bad on building this tailgate here. Considering everything that I did was by eye. The only things that I measured were the bed rails to give me the approximate length that I cut down, and the 2x4s for the height. Other than that, the pins were a guesstimate, and obviously you can see I need to cut some of this excess pin material off. But if you look, there's two. I don't know how well you can see that. But there's two different bed rails, and they're overlapped each other and then sandwiched together to hold this whole thing together. And it works incredibly well. And with the chain and everything like that, and only having the 1/4-inch bolts on it, I can climb up and out of this, and I don't fear it at all. So yeah, I can't complain. It does work. Oop, come on. So yeah, and give you a little better look at the inside of it. It definitely makes it look a lot better. Definitely. And it's going to give me so much more storage capacity, especially if I'm got the chipper up in here and I'm chipping stuff or whatever. That's the whole thing, is I'd like to get this lowered down to the ground to where it's about knee height. Because if it's knee height, I can put that chipper up in the back and just put a ratchet strap over it and strap it to the gate. And I can feed all them small limbs in and chip it all, and then just take a garden rake and shove it to the front until I can't shove any more in there. And then I'll have to get up in there and scoop it to the front. But man, I probably could have fit, if I could have mulched that tree up. But I was in a nicer neighborhood. Let me set you down here. I was in a nicer neighborhood, and I really didn't want to make that much noise. I was already running a chainsaw, so to run the chipper, and it being a little chipper and you're feeding it, I was like, it would have been a whole lot more work and a whole lot longer. Someday I'd like to get a bigger chipper. I'm also in the market for I want to get one of them, a little stump grinder. Something, you know, with a 13, 14 horse motor in it, or motor on it, like the little Honda ones, or I've seen a couple of them on Marketplace that I'm looking at. But obviously I can't afford anything right now. I'm getting started, and I'm hoping to apply for some grants so that way I can get me a nicer mower come springtime. And right now I've just got a little riding lawn mower that I got from my in-laws that they let us use for when I did my backyard. My backyard, when I bought this house, is a brand new house in a subdivision, but I bought it because it's right across the road from my work. So by the time I drop my kids off and go back to work, it's a mile. So I put like 2.5 miles on a day if I have to go to the store or something like that. But they only sodded half of my yard. And I've got a pretty decent sized yard, and I put a fence back there and everything like that. And it's good for the dogs to run around, so I have no complaints there. But they didn't sod it, so I had to go back there. I had to work it because they only leveled the areas where they put sod, and back there it was just more like a prairie grass. So I took that and mowed it all down as close as I could to the ground. Watered it the best I could, and then I went up to our local auto parts, and they do small equipment rental. And I got a nice John Deere with a hydraulic tiller on the back of it, and I rented that for a day or for a few hours, and I tilled my whole backyard up. Tilled it up. I bought a little box blade off of eBay and put it together, just one of them bolt together ones. It wasn't exactly straight, and you could tell that it was cheap. But at the end of the day, I put a little bit of weight on the back of it and pinned everything in place so it couldn't move. And I went back there and I flattened all that out with that box blade and got all the sod up and got rid of everything that I could. And it was fairly smooth. And then we got rain, so then I had to box blade it again, got it smooth again, and I let it dry out a little bit, and I aerated it in like 5 or 6 different directions. And then I laid my seed in, and when it rained, all that seed got pushed into them aerations, and my grass came in so quick. I was incredibly happy with it. Most of my backyard's clay, and you know grass doesn't like taking clay. So we're going to move up here. I'm going to put you back on my table saw over here, and I'm going to try to get back to work. I want to get this bolted in, and I'd like to get the header board on and go from there at least tonight. Had to grab the boss's bucket because that's how he gets in and out of the back of the dump trailer, because that's where he likes to play. side. Now I gotta figure out what's going on with this side. I might have to drill another hole. No, that fits. Barely. Hole out a little bit. Like I said, don't judge me. It's not perfect. It's just got to be functional. And these boards are going to add enough structure to it that I'm hoping that doesn't blow apart going down the road. I do have to get on the interstate sometimes. I try not to if I don't have to. So let's just hope it holds up. Do this one. tape measure. I'll bring you guys back when I get a little more done. All right, guys, I got you back here. We are done with this side. It turned out pretty well. That's kind of what I was going for. On the ends here, I was going to cover them up, but it's just a pinch thing. It just gives it a little bit more tension, and it's way more rigid than it was. I shake the whole trailer now instead of the plywood just moving, so it did exactly what I wanted it to do. I think I'm about done for the night. It's pushing 11:30, and I would like to try to go in and get this edited and get some sleep tonight, because it's going to be a long day at work tomorrow, and I got to tow first thing in the morning. So before, well, partial before and after. I don't think it looks too shabby, not for a little bit of redneck ingenuity and using what I have. So I'm liking it. I'd like to get some paint on it, or get some Thompson's water seal just to seal a couple coats. Being in the garage here, I can do the Thompson's water seal. That's non-toxic and won't stink up the place. So if you look at it, let me set you up back here if I can find a place. This is being very trusting because it's just a wire rack underneath you. So let's hope it holds. So tape measure here. So before, my initial idea was just to build something that was like a tonneau cover and put over it, and then build something low enough that the leaf back would just go in that. More like a tailgate deal with a little bit of a tarp. I realized by watching some videos, I watched Spencer's Lawn Care and a couple other guys, and thank you Spencer's Lawn Care for giving me this idea, but they didn't do the PVC. They had some other hoops made, but man, that hoop idea gave me the idea to use something flexible to make these. We'll get to that next time. Hopefully I'll have time to do that, but by doing this, I over doubled my capacity that I will be able to haul of the leaves when I'm backing them up, or if I'm mulching into here, if I'm mulching limbs into here, which means not only that I can move from job to job, but I can also go more jobs without having to dump the trailer, theoretically anyway. We'll see how that works. The chipper may not work as well as I want it to, and it might just be a whole lot faster to put it in there, stomp it down, put more in to stomp it down, and then just put the tarp over it. That way I don't have to strap it. But we'll go from there. So I'll give you a general idea of what the dimensions are of this, and then how much I added. And then I have I know how much approximately the arch is going to add to. So it's significant. So right now, from the bottom to the top of the side over here is roughly about 21 inches. Now, adding these boards on the side, I go from 21 to 38 and a half. And then with my hoop in the middle, that'll put me at like 43 or 4 inches what I had approximately measured out, because I got 10 footers. So I got to cut them down just a little bit and take the bell off the one side to do what I need to do. But my goal is up here, up this side, down the way, I got 4 of them. I'll mark them out so I've got even from end, 2 in the middle and 1 at the other end. And hopefully by the time I'm done, I'll have to cut them down to about 9 feet. And from here to the top of the bow, where it's going to be at like 44 inches, is approximately what I have. And then, so the trailer is 38 and a half high right now, 7'4" long, and 5 foot wide. Ideally, if I could get this low enough, I wouldn't mind getting it lower, and then I could possibly just put my 0 turn in here and maybe mount my trimmers on the side and stuff like that, and make this just multi-use. And then I don't have to buy another trailer, and I can put more money away to buy something nicer, or maybe a brand new or a newer truck. The truck I have right now is a 2003 Ford F-250 with a 6-liter in it. And I know everybody's going to say blah, 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 6-liter. But I like my truck. It's all original. The only thing it's ever had done to its injectors, I changed the oil cooler and harnesses and stuff like that, because it is a 21-year-old truck. But it still has the original turbo, original pipes and everything like that. The only thing that I had to replace was the up pipes. I'll give you guys, I'll show you guys that later during the day. But I think this is where I'm going to call it for the night, and we will hopefully pick it up tomorrow. If not, maybe the next day, and we'll go from there. Well, I was glad you guys stuck around to watch this, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.